Last segment, Cougar Nation. If you want to call in, share your thoughts on this football team. Do you get nervous or excited when BYU football gets some national attention? 801-575-8255. Let's get into this game while we wait for some calls, Mitch. BYU and Arizona. This Arizona offense, they've got a great quarterback, a top 10 potential wide receiver in the NFL draft. Earlier today, this was Kalani Sitake talking about both sides of the Wildcat football.
They have playmakers all over the place. They can run the ball. They can throw the ball and have really great talent at the quarterback position with Noah and with McMillan as a receiver. You can see there's a great connection between them, but you can see that he's connected to all his receivers and man, he knows how to dish out the ball. But they have a very strong run game. And I think when that happens, a lot of attention goes to the offense, but the defense is really strong. The defense knows how to make plays.
I don't know about that, personally. I think they gave up a lot of points to a New Mexico team earlier in the year. I just...
That Utah game, though, they looked good.
That's
but
secondary. Mitch, they have a true freshman quarterback who was not supposed to play this year. That's hard to overcome.
But I think where Kalani's getting at is they've got the personnel to beat you. Even though they're 3-2, like they've got talent that's good enough. And that's the case with everyone in the Big 12. I mean,
not everyone. Not Kansas.
They've got talent,
not
too.
Kansas.
Like, even Jalen Daniels over the weekend
Kansas.
looked kind of good, where I'm like, oh, like maybe Grimes is getting it right, or maybe they secretly did a collaborative effort.
Nice pull there. That was very good.
That's a collaborative effort. We all call the plays. But, everyone in this league's got talent. And, yes, I know Kansas, Houston, they're not looking good. And
Houston beat TCU.
I know. That's what I'm telling you. This league's nuts. But I think Arizona defensively, their secondary is what shines to me, was Takario Davis. So it's going to be a good test for BYU's receivers, who will be shorthanded without Cody Epps. And I know Cody Epps has been in and out for pretty much the better part of 2 years.
Yeah.
I mean, it's been in and out, but Epps has played a lot of snaps this season, and that's going to be an absence this week for BYU. He got banged up.
But you love the depth behind him. Keelan Marion's tested. Parker Kingston's reliable.
And I think that this will be this receiver, though, for Arizona. T-Mac is what I'm just basically going to call McMillan. He is one of the best receivers in college football. Problem is, I think sometimes he doesn't always live up to his talent. Late in that Texas Tech game, he's carelessly carrying the football and he fumbles it. And it's just like, dude, you are too good to let this happen. And I think sometimes he's not always living up to his potential. I think that's kind of the case with Arizona football in general. I mean, you look at Arizona, when these two teams used to be whack rivals back in the day, and that's been better part of 50-something years. Arizona never accomplished anything in the Pac-12. They never went to a Rose Bowl. They had that 1 year, 98. They were pretty good, but Desert Swarm a bit in the 90s, but really haven't done much. And this was some of the most hyped seasons ever coming into this year for Arizona, and they've stumbled out of the gates. Here we go again. Arizona's just underwhelming, but this could be a game for them where they really get back on track. If they win this one, it really sets the table for them to get on a run once again.
Yeah, I'm really curious to see how the Rock impacts this game, because Arizona, they just weren't rattled by the muss a couple weeks ago. What is the Rock going to do? Kalani's confident this Arizona team is battle tested and can make things difficult.
They've done something that they've done something already by going into Salt Lake City and beating Utah. So coming to this environment is going to be new for them. They're going to see an excited fan base. I'm excited that we get to play at home, but we can't look at that as the only advantage that we have.
The muss doesn't quite hold up as strong as it normally does when only 10 points are put on the board. I would just throw that out there. But
the Rock it's shifting. I know we're Cougar Nation. We're you could say, they're a little bit biased, but The Rock has stepped up in a big way. Over the last 10 years, when The Rock started to become a thing, and everyone's like, they're mimicking the Muss. Yeah, probably to some degree. The third down jump and all that stuff. But BYU's intensity, I was saying this on an Arizona radio station earlier today. I said, game day at BYU games, it's just, there is so much passion from BYU fans. They don't need a beverage. They don't need liquid courage. They just care and want their program and their team to reach the highest levels. And I just think BYU fans are going to be so intense. They're going to be almost it's almost going to be like, hey, when kickoff happens, like this team better not play a little too overly excited, because I think it's going to be off the charts, the scene in Provo this Saturday. Let's get out of the phone line, 801-575-8255. Jordan from West Jordan. You want to talk about the excitement or the nerves of when the national attention comes on this BYU football team, Jordan?
Yeah, just kind of go over my thoughts on that. And sorry if I've said anything that someone else said. I barely got off work, so I was happy to actually be able to jump in just in time. Basically, I would say that I'm always nervous as a BYU fan, just because I know there's always a chance that my team could lose. I mean, there's always a chance they could win, but there's always a chance they could lose. It's the curse of a fandom, I guess. But how can a fans not be excited for all the attention and for Big Noon Saturday and for all this stuff happening? We don't know how long this ride's going to go. It could go super long and we could have a magical season. It could be very short after this. This is the moment to just be excited and be happy as fans that we get to have this and take it to advantage, right? Like, especially to The Rock and to all the fans who are going to try to go on the show on Saturday. I'm going to try to actually go down myself if I am able to.
Nice.
Just represent the church, represent the fandom. If you're not a member of the church that's behind BYU, represent our fans. Our fans are the best, no matter you are LDS or non-LDS, whoever you are. Our fans are the greatest, and that's the best thing we can do with this attention, is just bring that attention to the fans, to the school, what it represents. And I think the players themselves have been doing an amazing job, especially Kalani Sitake. That's why he's my coach.
Love the call. Thank you. He brings up a good point. And I will say, this does feel a little different than other years, just because, one, you've got some road wins under your belt. Mm-hmm. Two, you've already overcome a lot of adversity. And three, if we're being real, Mitch, they haven't played a great football game yet.
No, and they're the better football team.
Yeah, that's a great
BYU
point.
is the better football team. Go in there, at home crowd behind you, show up and play like you're the better football team, because you are. And I think that's the thing here, is that BYU, like Arizona's got some moments, got some individual guys, but as a collective whole, BYU is the better football team. They are the favorite for the first time this season since, well, I guess, Wyoming and Southern Illinois, but this is the first Power 4 opponent where BYU's a favorite. And act like it and deliver and say, you know what, all these metrics and stats and this national attention that's building, validate it, because then this rocket ship will start to take off, folks, because it'll be quite the ride for BYU, because I don't think it would slow down anytime soon, because I know Kalani and the team aren't going to be looking ahead, but they're going to beat Oklahoma State. Oklahoma State's a train wreck, and they could really go off to a incredible start. This is the key, though. This is the game when the spotlight is massive. You got to deliver on it.
Have to deliver. It's in a little bit of a weird time spot, that early afternoon. They're not there a ton. But if they win this game, too, I think you realistically can start to look at airfare and hotels for Arlington.
Oh, jeez.
I'm going there, Mitch. I'm going there because
enjoy the moment, as Jordan said.
Yeah, enjoy. There's not a lot of hard games left. This is one of the 3 hardest games left. If you pass this test, I'm feeling really good about beating UCF. I'm feeling a lot better about beating Utah, but it all hinges on Arizona.
Cougar Nation sponsored by Central Bank. This Saturday, BYU Arizona kickoff at 2 here on KSL.